and welcome to Publish That Book, where we will show you how to get your book published and begin earning royalties. If you have any questions, email me at RobStetson@RobStetson.com or log on to my website at http://www.RobStetson.com. Today's show is an introduction to the series Publish That Book. It's a show not about me or about publishing on the internet or any other topic. This show is about you and your ability to get your book published. You should be earning royalties, and you should not be paying anything to publish your book. There is a group of publishers known as the Big Six. These are Hachette Publishing, George von Halbach Publishing Group Macmillan, Penguin Group, and by the way, Penguin Group is the largest publishing company in the world. They also have an independent publishing segment where you can put your books. HarperCollins Publishing, Random House, Simon & Schuster, these people are huge. They dominate the book marketplace. The way things used to be, you would wrap up your manuscript, double-spaced, put it in a package and mail it off, and you'd wait. And sometimes they would sign you up with a contract, and sometimes they wouldn't. Another method was to find an agent and get the agent to take you on as a client to go to the publishers and sell your book. It isn't done that way anymore. And believe it or not, things have actually gotten better. So we're going to talk about the way that works. We have a lot of online publishing platforms. One is Amazon. Amazon is 2,000 times bigger than the next publisher. So we're going to talk a lot about Amazon. ACX is another. ACX is the audio production arm of Amazon. ACX produces CDs with books for the hard of hearing and for people who just like to listen to a book on the way to work. Then there's Smashwords. Smashwords is pretty big. People like to get their books onto Smashwords because it is well known. Barnes & Noble is a brick and mortar bookstore. You find them on any street corner. And Barnes & Noble also has online publishing for independent authors. Book Country is another one. And Book Country, by the way, is the online platform for Penguin Group, which we mentioned earlier about being one of the Big Six. What you're going to learn here is you're going to learn the self-publishing industry. I'm going to take you on a tour of that as we go through each of the lessons and familiarize you with the industry. The requirements for formatting and uploading books to these publishers, I don't know why. I think it's pretty strange, but each independent online publishing company has an entirely different format, so that as you do your book, I'll be showing you how to format your book for the various different publishing companies. I'm going to show you how to get your book online and on bookshelves. I'm going to show you how to make money while lying in your hammock or playing with the kids or sleeping. There's nothing better than to have a little money trickling into the bank while you're doing something else. So it's the one job you don't have to go to work every day to do. You're going to learn the formatting rules, as I said. You're going to learn the formatting requirements. There's a lot of free software out there on the internet. I'll be your guide to take you out and introduce you to the various free software that's available that's going to enable you to succeed. There's also paid software. I myself, I buy the paid software, but I've been doing this for a while. And so for me, I wanted certain professional features that sometimes weren't available on all of the free software. So you're going to learn who each of the self-publishing sites are, which self-publishing sites work best. And we're going to learn how to find new sites. There's a method of doing that. I want to tell you now that out there on the internet, well, the internet's like the Old West. There's no real policing. There's no real management of illegal activities. And what you're going to find is a plethora of people that want to separate you from your money. I'm going to show you how to recognize these people, and I'm going to show you how to recognize legitimate agents. The fastest way to tell you're about to be taken is when you pull out your checkbook. You never pay anyone unless you hire them yourself to do anything for you. If they call you up and tell you they're going to make you rich and famous, it's time to run. Each of these sites online have publishing guides, and the guides tell you what the requirements are for formatting the book for their site. It gives you all of the information about the covers, about the document, and although they have editing services on the publishing sites, they cost anywhere from $150 to do a cover to $250 to prepare your book. I would urge you not to do that. There are publishing consultants that charge about 10% of that, and frankly, they do just as good a job. You can't afford Microsoft Office, so what do? Well, there's a clone out there, and I'm going to give you the web address where you can download the clone, and it's OpenOffice. In fact, it's on openoffice.org if you want to log on there. There's a free grammar and spell checker. That's out there on the internet. It's called Ginger. I actually use Ginger. I find it's very helpful. Some people have problems with spelling. Other people have problems with grammar. My shortfall is commas. So when I run Ginger, it tells me where to plug in a comma, because sometimes I miss one. The importance of your book cover cannot be overstressed. Here's a book, and here's a cover. It's important that you have artwork, that your title be large. In some cases, I'll put my name first and the title below. But the main thing is, you want to have a cover. Sites will let you use their covers, and their covers are just a blank, like an orange facing page, and on it is simply the name and your name in the lower right. They're very bland, and people know at a flash that what you've done is you published a book without a cover. The impression is that if you didn't have a cover, you didn't really have a very good book. So for that reason, I would never put a book up anywhere without a cover. And I'm going to show you how to make your own, or you can get someone to do it for you. But the key is to have something that catches their eye. People don't read, they scan. So when you're searching for books and you're looking for a page, and you get a page of about 20 books on it, all book covers with the titles underneath, you don't sit there and read each one. You just sort of scan it with your eyes. And what you'll do is you'll find a book that catches your eye because of the artwork. You lock in on that book, you'll read the title, and then you'll ask yourself, is that sound like something I want to read? If it sounds like it might be something you'd like to look at, you click on that cover and it takes you to the page where you can order the book. And in there is a description. The description tells you about the story. It's sort of like the trailer for a movie, you know. The key to writing a good description is to pick segments of the book that are exciting and to arrange them in a way that will entice the buyer to buy the book. So you don't put anything in the description that isn't in the book. You don't misrepresent the book. What you want to do is to present the book in its best light. So the key to making the cover, back to the cover, sorry. The artwork on the cover is a hot spot because people have copyrights on their artwork. There are sites online where you can get public domain art, where you are free to take that art and put it on your cover. And there are good sites and there are not so good sites. There are even sites where people have downloaded art and then been notified that they violated somebody's copyright, even though the site said it was public domain. So I'm going to give you the location of a website where you can obtain good public domain art. The safest thing to do, if you have a digital camera, and if you don't, they're really cheap. You take a digital camera, you set something up that looks pretty spiffy, and you take a photo, and you put that on your cover, and that becomes yours. Above all, watch your costs, because I'm going to tell you something about publishing. The general impression is that if you're published, you have money. The fact is, like any form of art, you're a starving artist. And you're going to make money. You're going to make $1 here and $1 there, and darn if that isn't $2, right? But in the long haul, you're not going to find yourself paying your rent and buying all your groceries and buying gasoline for the car and paying for your insurance and all that with your publishing money. After you've sold a few hundred or 1 to 10,000 of your books, you'll be contacted probably by an agent or a publisher, and they're going to want to sign you up for a contract. This is the danger point where you have to ask yourself, is this a publisher or is this a scam artist? The difference is a scam artist will need a check from you in order to do your book. A publisher will offer you an advance on your royalties, and they'll give you a check. And so that's the biggest difference. There are no publishers who will not give you an advance on your book. There are no scam artists who will do your book without a check up front. So that's the major difference. So you're going to want to watch your costs because it's easier to spend more than you make. The key to making your book sell, in the order of importance, is the cover, the title, and the description. I want to give you a word on social sites with regard to selling. There are people who seem to spend their life on social sites, and they form all of these connections with dozens or hundreds of other people. Everyone on there is, as a rule, well, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say a lot of people on there are there in order to move their products and become known. And if that's what you're going on there for, it's a hard row to hoe. Just imagine that someone introduces themselves as a new friend, and then the first thing they want to do is sell you something. That's usually a put-off. So if you go onto a social site and you're amassing friends and you're not telling them to buy your books, you're just spending time on a social site. If you go on there and you amass a bunch of friends and you tell them, I need you to buy my books, now you're alienating them. There's no real way to win on a social site that I know of. The hours and hours and hours that people spend on social sites, hobnobbing with others, that's time they could be using to write their next book. So I don't regard social sites as being a productive way to spend your time. There are other better ways to move your books. As for cover design software, I touched on that. My favorite is Book Cover Pro. Book Cover Pro is not cheap. It's $187. When you're starting out, don't spend that. Don't buy that yet. You buy that when you have enough books, 10 or 20, and you're ready to go ahead and start creating your own PDF covers and uploading them. And that's another whole skill, and I'm going to teach you how to do that. So there's free cover design software that's available online. Another way is to use the cover design software that is available on the, for instance, Amazon platform. They have paperback book cover software. In fact, this was done on Amazon. And I know it was because if you can see this, and then my name in the band in the middle, that's characteristic of one of their layouts. And people become familiar with the book cover layouts on Amazon. The downloadable or purchasable book cover software can give you unique looking covers, and people will think that you've hired an artist to do your cover. But no cover design software is ever really required, because you can use Microsoft Word with a scanner. You can scan in your artwork. You can emblazon your title. You can put your name on it and save it as a JPEG image. You can create a PDF using that. You can upload it. JPEGs are good uploads for electronic books, which we're going to talk about. So book covers are quick and easy to do. Applying paperback art, you can use it. I recommend Adobe Acrobat, but Adobe Acrobat is expensive in terms of the Acrobat professional version. So Microsoft Word is a better way to go, and you can still often save it as a PDF. When you do a paperback cover, the thickness of the spine, the thickness of the book, is dependent on the number of pages in the book. And when you create your cover, you're required to let them know what the thickness of that spine is going to be. It's part of the paperback cover. The beauty of all that is when you get onto, say, Amazon and create your paperback cover, it tells you what the spine thickness is going to be. So all you have to do is accept it, and you have a cover. If you do your own, there are ways to calculate that. And that's one of the things I like about the software that I bought. It not only creates a totally unique, professional-looking cover that is definitely not an Amazon cover, but it also tells you what the spine thickness is going to be. For ebook, the difference between ebook and paperback is the ebook only contains the actual front cover. There's no spine, there's no back page, and here again, back on Amazon, when we created our paperback cover, on the last page of your entries, you have the option to save an ebook cover. When it comes down to making changes, let's say that you do your book, your document can be changed, your cover can be changed. You can replace your description, you can change your price, you can even change your worldwide distribution. But the problem is that whenever you make a change, and it may not be a problem, I've done it, I've made changes, it changes on the site that you changed it on within a day or two, but these sites have worldwide distribution, and I'm going to let you know about that. And it takes 6 to 8 weeks for your changes to distribute themselves around the world. Now, I sell a lot of books in Germany, England, New Zealand, Australia. I've sold books in every country in the world, and it's not because of me. It's because I choose the right distributors, and I select the right distribution channels. I'm going to show you all about that. As far as getting help, there are cover formatting guides online. There are ways to minimize your startup expenses. You want to keep your cover design under $25 if you hire someone to do it for you. It's very important to keep your costs down because your profits are going to be down up front. Let's face it, it's a new book. And although you may sell a few, you may sell 7 a month, 10 a month, and the numbers will then either begin to increase through word of mouth or they'll begin to trickle off. There are millions of books online, and that's the biggest problem. Because there are millions of books online for sale, and I'll tell you something, about 40% of those books are free. People can download them for free. So if you're trying to get for an electronic book, say $3.99, which is a target price that I like to aim for, the competition is giving their book away for $0. So your book has to be good. And then you have the big 6 in there pitching, and they get preferential treatment. And I'm going to tell you why. I don't have a problem with them getting preferential treatment because these platforms make their money. They pay their wages, they pay their expenses, they pay everything from the money they get from the sale of books. If your book is going to sell 7 this month, and one of the big 6 is going to sell 1,200 books this month, I would imagine that they would be pretty foolish not to push the big book publishing house. They're not going to back you. So, among other factors, you can read ebooks without a reader. Readers cost anywhere from $70 to hundreds. I saw an e-reader for like $800 once. I almost bought it. I'm glad I didn't because I don't really sit out there and read ebooks on the back lawn. But if you log on to http://www.RobStetson.com, you'll come up with the main page to my website. You don't even have to touch the menu. Just click on the free e-reader and download it. That's all you need to do. Now your PC becomes an e-reader. We're going to talk a little bit about the BISAC code. The BISAC code is the Book Industry Standards and Communications Code. All it really is just the subject, like is it fiction or nonfiction? Is it science fiction or is it fantasy? Is it romance? That's all. It's called a BISAC code. Then you have things like keywords, which are also called metadata and tags. I'll teach you all the buzzwords. So Look forward to our future shows, and I'll walk you by the hand through the process of not only publishing your book for free and then getting royalties. There's a convention in the industry called ISBN. ISBN is the International Standards Book Number. There are two forms of these numbers. One is a 10-digit, and the other's a 13. I don't know why there are two, but if you're interested in converting from a 10 to a 13 or a 13 to a 10, you can go to http://pcn.loc.gov/isbnconvert.html. This has been Publish That Book, where we show you how to get your book published and begin earning royalties. Log on to my website and download your handouts on today's show.